So
he had not denied that. So therefore, it's an illegal statement. If I tell someone to kill, and if that person goes and shoots, and if he doesn't, still I'm guilty of murder. Where I have aided and abetted murder. So therefore, I believe at that time, the government, I think Mr. Ayubowan wanted to issue a clarification and denial of the statement General Fonseca has made. I believe he had not gone into this other aspects.
Because it was also too soon and was a reaction on the spur of the moment. But now what is the position? Because it has been some time.
I believe if you look at the websites, they are now working on this because they have now achieved their target. Now, there are in the indictment, there are two people. That is Gotabaya Rajapaksa and General Sarath Fonseca. Now, as far as they are concerned, in fact, I got received emails, they will remove General Sarath Fonseca from war crimes and then indict Gotabaya Rajapaksa and then use General Sarath Fonseca's statement against him and against Shamindra Silva and then various other. So this is it's a very, very complicated situation, and it's unfortunate this happened. I believe that sometimes when he may have some personal problems with Mr. Gotabaya Rajapaksa, I do not know, but then I believe the statement he has made. On the other hand, there are some people say no, both are equally culpable, because as the army commander, what action has he taken to in fact inquire into this matter and find out whether this statement is true, and if the statement is true, what action he has taken to prevent such atrocity being committed. Now, the famous story about the Channel 4 news item where they showed on Channel 4 where arrested Tamil LTT soldiers or LTT cadre shot by people representing Sri Lankan army. Now, when this happened, the government immediately reacted and prevented and stated that this is a fake video footage. And you will not believe, Deepamala, such an important channel like Channel 4, in fact, accepted by the government state. But moment the statement issued, the next day, they said this is authentic. So now, it's a question of not denials, not admissions, not anything. The court will have to evaluate this evidence because there are people who will go to police station and confess the murder. Then subsequently he goes and retracts. He goes makes a different statement. But then the court will have to evaluate and find out whether which statement could be accepted as true. In fact, the PTA, all statements, all accused are found guilty on the confessions made by them to a police officer, to a gazetted police officer. So the court will have then also evaluate that evidence. So my position, Deepamala, is that this has opened. This has actually resulted in what the Tamil diaspora, the LTT faithfuls in the world, we have played into their hands. It's very, very unfortunate.
Right, and also just one last question because we're also running out of time. And Mr. Warnakulasuriya, now they also say that army commander, an ex-army commander, is not a person who can sort of rule the country. But we also have examples like George Washington, French de Gaulle, Eisenhower. So what can you say to that?
No, I don't want to make a comment on whether he can rule the country or not. But I want to correct some of the misinformation. Now, George Washington was the person who led the American army to victory. Now, it's very, very interesting. In 1783, when the English, when King George the Third's army was defeated, he asked his governor, "What will George Washington do?" Then the governor said, he has specifically told that he will go back to his farm, and he will go back to his farm, and he will not get involved in politics. Then it was in fact he did return, as he said, he did return his private life and retired to his plantation Mount Vernon. So therefore, then what happened? Later, he was called by the other people because they could not draft the constitution. He was the person who chaired the Constitution Assembly, and then he became the president. And Charles de Gaulle never became the president of the French Republic as soon as the war was over. The war was over in 1940s. He became the prime minister in 1959 and became the prime minister and the president in 1959. He was the president of the provisional government which established outside France. But then thereafter, after the war was won, they found that he was not suitable. Then he was removed. Then he became the president of the 18th president of the French Republic. He became on the 8th of January 1959, long after the war. 1959. The war was over in 1944 or 45. So these are. Then till then he was engaged in active politics. So these, and even Eisenhower never became the president soon after the war. It took a long time, and he had various positions, and then ultimately he entered into politics in 1952. So the war was over long before that. So therefore, and he was also was involved in the drafting the treaty, NATO organization. So these are some other misconceptions because they do not know the history. They have not studied history. They have heard about de Gaulle. They have heard about Eisenhower. They have heard about George Washington. And factually I do not see anyone who became the president of the country immediately
soon after the war. So Mr. Warnakulasuriya, this was a very good discussion, and also especially because we spoke on the aspect of international conspiracy. Yeah. Many people think that it's a constructed campaign, and you managed to give insight as to why it might not be a constructed advertising or a mileage-seeking campaign, but the serious consequences that are there, and in a more legal perspective as well. So these are all things to ponder and make an informed decision at a crucial time like this. So thank you so much, Mr. Warnakulasuriya, Hemantha Warnakulasuriya, for joining us. Thank you for joining us at Ayubowan, Sri Lanka. Do join us tomorrow also at the same time. Have a nice day.